This is Dr. Zeb, and welcome to the Rehab Christian Center Sunday morning virtual experience. I am so grateful to be here with you today, and so thankful that you have joined us wherever you are and in whatever you're doing. Thank you for choosing the Rehab Christian Center on this morning. It is an honor and a privilege to be here, and it is certainly my hope and prayer that everything is well with you and everything concerning you. It is in North Carolina, a very ugly day, but we are certainly grateful to be here and certainly thankful again that you've tuned in to join us wherever you are and in whatever you're doing. Listen, I need you to start liking this video. I want you to start sharing this video. We've got an incredible word for you today. We are still in this love and happiness series. And we have an incredible word for you today, and it's going to bless you in a tremendous way. And I'm excited. I'm teaching You Need a Break. And this is going to be good. The kids can tune in today. They don't have to be sit on the sidelines today. We don't have to put them in virtual children's church today. So the kids are good to go today, but I'm teaching a powerful word. You need a break. And I need you to tune in. Start liking the video, sharing the video wherever you are, and let everybody know that we're live and on the air. I'm excited to be here and so grateful to see you virtually. As you jump on the line, make sure you say good evening or good morning, rather, in the chat area. Again, it is my hope that you are safe and sound wherever you are. It is a very cold, wet, mix kind of day. I think it's a mix of sleet and rain here, and so it's not the nicest of days here, but we're excited to be here and certainly hopeful and prayerful that you are as well. We're on all of our networks this morning: Facebook, the Rehab Christian Center; Instagram, the REHABexperience; YouTube at TheREHABCC. We're everywhere today. And this is Super Sunday. This is Super Bowl Sunday. And we're excited to be here today with a super word for you that's going to empower you. We've received so much feedback about this series and this message, the messages that we've been teaching on love and happiness and relationships and all of that kind of fun stuff. And so we know you're going to be blessed today in a tremendous way. And we're just so excited that you've tuned in. Now, I want to get ready to get into the declaration. I don't have a lot of time because I've got a lot of ground. I've got to cover today. And so I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I want to get right into the declaration. And then we're going to go from there. Again, if you're tuned in, just say good morning in the chat area. Go ahead and start hitting that @ symbol. Start inviting people. Tell them to tune in and let them know that we are live and on the air. All right. Would you do that? We're so grateful that you've tuned in on today. Let's get ready for the declaration this morning. If this is your first time tuning in, you may not be aware of a few things. One of those things is that every single Sunday we walk through our declaration. People ask us, what does REHAB stand for? REHAB is an acronym for Restore, Evangelize, Hope, Alternatives, Breakthrough. It is the 5 pillars by which we attempt to operate ministry. And we always walk through the declaration every single Sunday because it's so important that you start your week off saying the right things, thinking the right things concerning your life. All right. And so you should see the declaration on your screen wherever you are. Again, as you jump on, make sure you say good morning. It's rude to come to virtual church and not even speak. But make sure you say good morning in the chat area. And then wherever you are, whether you're driving or still laying down in the bed, make sure you repeat this declaration with us because it's going to bless you where you are. Minister Carlos, I got your message this morning, and I'm praying for you out here in this rain and sleet. It started sleeting last night. It's so crazy. Weather here in North Carolina is so wild. But let's walk through this declaration this morning. All right. You should see it on your screen. I'm going to read it slowly and pause so that you can repeat after me. And we're going to go from there. All right. Let's say it. Restore. We declare that everything that is missing, that is broken, lost, hurt, or destroyed, that belongs to us and has been designed by God is restored. My faith is restored. My joy is restored. My mind is restored. Even my lost time is restored. I am no longer broken. The fact that I'm alive means I have another chance. My faith has restored me. And right now, his love is making me whole. Evangelize. Say it with me. We declare that everything that God helped us so we could help somebody else. He loved me when I was unlovable. He changed me when I was a mess. His love lifted me when I was down. I'm not perfect, but I am free. And anything that came for me can't keep me. Because I'm free, my circle is next. My family is saved. My friends are blessed. My plans are successful. My goals are ahead of schedule. And anything connected to me is blessed, just like me. Hope. Say this with me. We declare that everything that is missing is not lost. In Jesus, I have hope. And this hope makes me confident. It doesn't matter what happens to me or around me. I'm going to win. My relationships are winning. My goals are winning. My family is winning. My neighbor is winning. This city will win, and my row has the victory. My past is defeated, and my future is brighter today than it was yesterday. Alternative. Say this with me. We declare that God made us different. I'm a royal child, the light of the world, and the hope of my city. I respect the past, but I don't look like what I've been through. I love the church, and my life is balanced. I love coming to church, but I like flights, boats, and vacations. My whole life is blessed. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender, not a borrower. And every place I go belongs to me. Breakthrough. Say this with me. We declare that God has a breakthrough with our name on it. I have some challenges, but I am not defeated. No weapon formed against me can prosper. And I know that all things are working for my good. Things are not breaking down. They are about to break through. There is a breakthrough in my career. There is a breakthrough in my home. There is a breakthrough in my health. There is a breakthrough in my finances. I am here on purpose, for a purpose, and everything that went wrong is getting ready to turn around. My friends, did you make that declaration with us? If you did, do me a favor. I want you to type in the comments. It is so important that we type this morning. How relevant is this comment this morning today? I want you to type in the comments right now in all capital letters. A win is a win. Come on, I need you to make that declaration over your life. A win is a win. We've been saying this every single Sunday starting in 2023. And I want some of you to know you're making incredible progress. You are winning in areas of your life that you thought you would never win. You're seeing progress in areas of your life you never thought you would see progress. And I hope you're excited today. Come on, type it in the comments like you're excited. A win is a win. You've got to sometimes tell yourself that it doesn't matter if I don't get the big one, as long as I'm winning along the way, accepting the progress that's coming my way. Things are indeed working out for me. Come on, a win is a win. A win is a win. A win is a win. Hurry up, type it in the comments this morning. I'm so excited to be here with you today and just so grateful that you are here. Come on, y'all. I need more of you to put it in the comments today. A win is a win. A win is a win. You've got to declare this every single week this year as you continue to progress towards your goals and the things that you've been designed to do, the things you've been designed to have, the things you've been designed to experience in your life. I need you to always remind yourself, it doesn't matter how much progress you're making, as long as you're moving forward and not backwards. A win is indeed a win. And we're so excited that you're making progress in this season of your life. Listen, I want you to type in the comments quickly. Our scripture for the week this week is 1 Peter chapter 4. It's our first repeat scripture. 1 Peter chapter 4 is our scripture for the week. It is our first repeat scripture of the year. We did this scripture back in, I think, October. And but it's very relevant for what we're going to be teaching, possibly Tuesday, but definitely next Sunday. Next Sunday is Children's Church Sunday, virtually, meaning if you got kids next Sunday, I need you to put your kids in a room somewhere, cut on some music real loud so they can't hear the broadcast blasting in your house. Or if they're in the car, put on headphones on their head, because next Sunday, we're going to be teaching on something that they probably aren't ready to hear. And some of you might not be ready to hear either. And so 1 Peter chapter 4 really sets us up for that. We're going to be teaching that next Sunday. So that's our script, not 1 Peter chapter 4, but we're going to be teaching something that, your kids don't need to be around. So I'm just giving you the heads up now. Next Sunday is Virtual Children's Church Sunday, and you just need to find something for them to do because it's going to be powerful. Scripture for the week is 1 Peter chapter 4. We'll be here for Life Studies Tuesday at 7:33 p.m. Now, I want to say this before I get into the message, because I see many of you looking at my crown. And one of the things I've been working on in this season is my humility. I have been really working on my humility because, if you've known me, Rehab, for some time, I told you all when I first met you years ago that growing up, they used to call me tight squeeze. When it came to dance battles, I've been known in the streets to win all kinds of dance competitions, dance battles. If any of you are familiar with movies like Beach Street, stuff like that, you know that dance battles are common. Used to be common back in the day. And, I shared with Rehab years ago this, and many of you laughed at me. Many of you, when I said that they used to call me tight squeeze, and anytime there was a conflict in school that needed to be resolved, we used to dance it out. And Mr. Carlos went to school with me. He might be able to verify this. He may have been at his locker or in lunch and this was happening. But when there was conflicts, they used to call me to come and dance it out. And we resolved many problems in school dancing it out. Well, last night, my daughter had daddy-daughter dance. And I was so honored to go with her. She said, "Daddy, put on a tuxedo." I said, "Word, say word." I don't want to embarrass the little one, not in that regard. So we got there, we were in line, and they had the B-rolls going and had our picture up from last year. Because she said, "Daddy, we were one of the best dressed, father and son team, daughter teams there." And I said, "Baby, I agree." Got in and took our picture, and Cupid Shuffle came on. And unfortunately, there were a lot of daddies in there that did not know where to start. And shout out to Dr. Boykin, colleague and friend, who kind of helped me get the party started last night. And so so people were really confused last night. And so being the leader, the dance leader that I am, that I've been known in the streets to be, I saw this as an opportunity. I saw it as an opportunity. And so what I did was I got the crowd in order. Now, it was about, literally, and I'm not making this up, it was about 400 some odd people there. And many of them were confused. They did not know the Cupid Shuffle from YMCA. And so I got us going, in true tight squeeze leadership form. I got us going. I started us in the right direction. And then once the crowd had it, because I was in front, let's be clear, there was a big screen there and I was in front with my daughter and Dr. Boykin and many of her friends. And I was in front. And once I saw the crowd had it, then, I did it cookout style. If you've ever done the Cupid Shuffle at a cookout, you throw some extra moves in there. And, so just doing my thing, nothing special. This is what I do as a professional and now award-winning dancer. Didn't think anything of it. This is natural for me. And so as I'm doing the dance, I finish and I didn't think anything of it. The song changed and everybody clapped and they went to the next song. And, I just, straightened up my shirt, made sure my bow tie was straight. And checked on my little one. And she, was just, for the first time, I saw a sparkle in her eye I had never seen before. And, Giselle in that moment was incredibly proud of me. And it did something for me. It really made me feel good inside. So, I just checked my shirt and then, she continued dancing with her friends and stuff. And, I grabbed my phone because honestly, I was about to let the world know that I just led a group of 400 and some odd men and children in one of the best dances of their lives. When somebody tapped me on my shoulder, y'all give me two more minutes. I'll let y'all testify every week. If y'all don't mind, just let me testify. I'll get right into the word. Somebody tapped me on my shoulder. I turned around and I don't know her name. We're going to call her Susan. Susan says, "Sir." I said, "Yes, Susan." She said, "Is this your daughter?" She points to Giselle. I said, "Yes, ma'am, it is." And she said, "Listen." She reaches from behind her back and hands me this nice crown and an Amazon gift card and says, "Sir, we are awarding you as one of the top daddy dancers at this event." The cameras were there. Giselle immediately put her hand over her face because she could not believe that everything I told her about being an awesome dancer was 100% true. So I'm pleased to say today, if you look on all my social media, I think I got to do Facebook and TikTok. I'll work on that today. I've updated my bio to include award-winning dancer, because I think it is relevant and important that we all understand that I am a man of many talents. And we can add to this list: PhD, 3 books, about to release the 4th one, leader in corporate spaces, religious spaces. Now we can add to that award-winning dancer. And I just want to say to y'all, thank you. To those of you who always believed in me, I appreciate it. To those of you who doubted me, I understand. It's not rare when you meet someone who can teach and empower and also shake a tail feather. All right. And so I appreciate y'all. Now that we've gotten that out the way, I'm going to take this heavy thing. This thing is heavy. It's heavy. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. This thing is heavy. And I'll probably be doing some videos this week with my crown on. I just wanted to give y'all the backstory. It's important that I let my family know first. All right. Now we've gotten that out the way. I want you to type in the comments today, you need a break. That's what we're going to teach on today. I'm excited. Thank you, Sister Nick Watson. Those of you that have supported me near and far. I am so grateful for it. You're right. My reign continues. And many of you have already requested, Doc, I want to see the moves. I want to see it. I'm working with an agency right now. And this is going to offend some of you, but unless you're in exclusive circles, you're going to probably have to pay to see me dance. And that's okay. Type in the comments quickly. You need a break. I want you to put it in the comments. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long. That's what we're teaching on. And I'm going to be coming from Ruth chapters 1 and 2. Now, I'm going to do this different today because I'm going to set the context before I give you this word today. And it's not going to sound like I'm dealing with relationships until it does. It's not going to sound like I'm dealing with love until it does. But this is going to be a powerful message. And I'm excited to share it with you today. Ruth chapter number 1. I'm in the New Living Translation. I'm going to read through a lot of this. I rarely just read 2 whole chapters. But for those of you that have never read the story of Ruth, Naomi, and Boaz, it's critically important that I read this story because I've got to set a foundation for where we're going today. All right. You need a break. Ruth chapter 1 and 2 is what we're going to deal with. Okay. I'm in the New Living Translation. Again, record notes in the comments. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler the entire week. Look at this. Ruth chapter 1, New Living Translation says this. In the days when the judges ruled in Israel, a severe famine came upon the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah left his home and went to live in the country of Moab, taking his wife and his 2 sons with him. Verse 2, the man's name was Elimelech, and his wife was Naomi. Their 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in the land of Judah. And when they reached Moab, they settled there. Verse 3, I'm in Ruth chapter 1, verse 3. Verse 3. Then Elimelech died, and Naomi was left with her 2 sons. The 2 sons married Moabite women. One married a woman named Orpah, and the other a woman named Ruth. But about 10 years later, both Mahlon and Chilion died. This left Naomi alone without her 2 sons or her husband. Let me say this in English. There's a woman named Naomi whose husband Elimelech dies. Not only does Naomi lose her husband Elimelech, she loses her 2 sons. Her 2 sons were married to women named Orpah and Naomi. So now only Naomi, Orpah, and Ruth are alive. All 3 of them lost their husbands. Okay? Now, verse 6. I'm in Ruth chapter 1, verse 6. Then Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had blessed his people in Judah by giving them good crops again. So Naomi and her daughters-in-law got ready to leave Moab to return to her homeland. With her daughters-in-law, she set out from the place where she had been living, and they took the road that would lead them back to Judah. Verse 8, but on the way, Naomi said to her daughters-in-law, go back to your mother's homes, and may the Lord reward you for your kindness to your husbands and to me. May the Lord bless you with security of another marriage. Then she kissed them goodbye, and they all broke down and wept. No, they said, I'm in verse 10, we want to go with you to your people. Verse 11, but Naomi replied, why should you go on with me? Can I still give birth to other sons who can grow up to be your husbands? No, my daughters, return to your parents' homes, for I am too old to marry again. And even if it were possible, and I were to get married tonight and bear sons, then what? Would you wait for them to grow up and refuse to marry someone else? No, of course not. My daughters, things are more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord himself has raised his hand against me. So let me give you this in English. I'm going to stop occasionally and give you some things in English. I want to make sure you're following me. So Naomi and them are about to go back home, and Naomi's about to go back home, and the daughters thought they were going as well. But Naomi says, listen, You've lost your husbands. I lost my husband. You all have no obligation to me anymore. Go back to where you're from. I'm going to go back to where I'm from. I wish you well. Sorry this happened. You don't have to follow me back. Go ahead and live your life. Go find you another husband. Move on. The daughters broke down and cried and said, listen, we don't want to leave you. We want to follow you. We want to be with you. She says, no, I don't want y'all to do it. Y'all go back. They said, no, we want to be with you. Look at this. Verse 14, Ruth chapter 1, verse 14. Again, they wept together, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung tightly to Naomi. Verse 15, look, Naomi said to her, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. You should do the same. So Orpah changed her mind. First, Orpah said, listen, mom-in-law, I'm going to stay with you. We're going to go back to where we lived, and we're just going to all live together. But then Orpah changed her mind and said, well, okay, then you want me to go? I'm leaving. Versus Ruth, who says in verse 16, but Ruth replied, don't ask me to leave you and turn back. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Wherever you die, I will die. And there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me severely if I allow anything but death to separate us. This is Ruth talking to Naomi. So Ruth says, I don't know what Orpah doing, but wherever you go, I'm going to go. And whatever you do, I'm going to do. And the only thing that can separate us, old color purple style, can't none separate us but death, right? That's the kind of flavor that Ruth was giving to Naomi. Look at verse number 18. Then when Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, she said nothing more. So the two of them continued on their journey. When they came to Bethlehem, the entire town was excited by their arrival. Is it really Naomi? The women asked. They were excited because Naomi lost her husband. She lost Ruth, who married to one, was also a widow. So the people were excited to not only see her, excited that she was just in her right mind. Look at this. Verse number 20. I'm giving y'all nuggets already. Verse 20. She says, don't call me Naomi, she responded. Instead, call me Mara, for the Almighty has made life very bitter for me. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me home empty. Why call me Naomi when the Lord has caused me to suffer and the Almighty has sent such a tragedy upon me? So Naomi's honest response to adversity was, don't even call me by my name, call me bitter. I'm going to deal with this. This is going to make so much sense in just a few minutes. She said, I lost my husband, lost my two sons. Now I've lost a daughter-in-law. I got one daughter-in-law that wants to stick with me. And y'all calling me by my name and celebrating me for my strength when I just need y'all to give me a moment to be bitter. I need y'all to follow this. This is going to make sense in just a second. Look at verse 22. So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by her daughter-in-law, Ruth, the young Moabite woman. They arrived in Bethlehem in late spring at the beginning of the barley harvest. Let me say this before I go to chapter 2 really quickly. All of you need a Ruth in your life. Okay, I want you to type this. This is your first comment of the morning. Type it in the comments, in the notes. Your notes in the comments, you're going to be the smartest person in the water cooler all week long. Put this in the comments. We all need a Ruth in our lives. What's a Ruth? A Ruth is a person who gonna stick with you when you don't have the strength to believe in yourself. This is gonna make sense. Y'all bear with me. We all need, come on, put it in the comments. I need to see you typing, writing, and hearts. Put it in the comments. We all need a Ruth in our lives. It can be, the Ruth can be male, can be female, whatever. We need a person who's gonna stick with us when life gets hard. Because the reality is, life is going to get hard. And Ruth, like her sister-in-law, could have packed up and went back home too. But she decided to stick it out with Naomi to help her, because while Ruth was hurting, watch this, Naomi's hurt was probably greater. Ruth just lost a husband. Naomi lost a husband and two sons. And I'm not here to suggest to you that one level of loss is necessarily greater than another, but three is still greater than one. What is so powerful about Ruth is the kind of friend that when you go through something tragic, they could have their own problems, but they have the ability to park what they're dealing with so they can help you see your problems a little bit better. Is this making sense to anybody today? And so we all need people like that in our lives who literally can be dealing with their own stuff, but be able to help us when we're going through our own stuff. Okay, so that's who Ruth is. Now, this is going to be good. Woo. Let's get into Ruth chapter number 2. I'm going to read Ruth chapter 2, then I'm going to pepper you with a lot of comments, all right, or notes. All right, y'all ready? Ruth chapter number 2. Verse 1. Now there was a wealthy and influential man. So they arrived in Bethlehem. They got back home. Now watch what happens. Now there was a wealthy and an influential man in Bethlehem named Boaz, who was a relative of Naomi's husband, Elimelech. Okay, so Boaz was some kin to Naomi's deceased husband. All right, I need y'all to follow this. Verse 2. One day, Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, "Let me go out into the harvest fields to pick up the stalks of grain left behind by anyone who was kind enough to let me do it." Naomi replied, "All right, my daughter, go ahead." In verse 3, so Ruth went out to gather grain behind the harvesters, and as it happened, she found herself working in a field that belonged to Boaz, the relative of her father-in-law, Elimelech. Let me put it in English. Ruth says to Naomi, "Let me go get me a job. Let me go find me a job and see over here in this field if they'll let me work in their field and just pick up leftover things so that I can reoccupy myself and get to work." And when she gets there, she does not know that the field she's working in is owned by a man named Boaz, who happens to be related to Naomi's deceased husband. Are y'all following me? Okay. Now, look at verse number 4. While she was there, I'm in Ruth chapter 2, verse 4. While she was there, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. "The Lord be with you," he said. "The Lord bless you," the harvesters replied. So he's talking to the workers. Look at verse number 5. Then Boaz asked his foreman, "Who is that young woman over there? Who does she belong to?" The foreman said, verse 6, "She is the young woman from Moab who came back with Naomi. She asked me this morning if she could gather grain behind the harvesters. She has been hard at work ever since, except for a few minutes rest in the shelter." So Boaz sees Ruth working and asked about her. I'm going to get to all of this in a second, because some of y'all have been left, have been broke up with, did the breaking up, whatever. And your response was to try to scurry and find somebody else. Ruth's response was to find some work to do. This is going to be clear in just 1 second. And because she was working, a man noticed her work ethic, and that begins this trail that leads them to where we all know the story is going. Right? Look at this. Here we go. The foreman spoke well of Ruth. I'm in verse number 7. Not only spoke well of Ruth, but the foreman says she's been working since she's been here. She's barely had a break. Look at verse number 8. Boaz went over and said to Ruth, "Listen, my daughter, stay right here with us when you gather grain. Don't go into any fields. Stay right behind the young women working in my field. See which part of the field they are harvesting, and then follow them. I have warned the young men not to treat you roughly. And when you are thirsty, help yourself to the water they have drawn from the well." So Boaz sees Ruth working. He asked the foreman about Ruth. Foreman says, listen, boss. She legit. She been working since she been out here. She ain't stopped working. From sun up to sundown, she's been out here getting it done. Boaz, like what he heard, walked over to her and said, listen, I want you to keep working and stay behind the harvesters. Wherever they go, you go. I've already given them the heads up to not let nobody bother you. I've even told the young men they bet not talk harsh to you. Boaz saw what he liked, and he set expectations. He set clear expectations. Let me just help you. Let me just help you. This is the second note I want you to record. We're still talking about you need a break. It's going to make sense in just a little while. This is the second thing I want you to record. This is love and happiness, right? I want you to record this. This is your second note. You ready? When someone is serious about you, you never have to guess. Uh-oh, my comments are slow this morning. Come on. Come on. When somebody is serious about you, you never have to guess. Look how slow the comments in the heart. Yeah. And I ain't just talking about you single folks. Some of you are with people and you wondering if they with you. Like you in a whole relationship with somebody. You in a whole marriage with somebody. And most days you don't even know if they like you. So I ain't just talking about single folk. I'm talking single, relationship, married, whatever. When somebody's serious about you, you never had to guess. And Boaz makes this clear. He not only told her, listen, I want you to stick around, but watch this. I ain't going to let nobody bother you. When was the last time somebody was so down with you that not only did they let you know it for real, but they said, listen, you roll with me, ain't nobody going to bother you. Fellas, free game alert. Come on, I need to see. Asterisk, free game alert. Asterisk, somebody put it in the comments. Fellas, free game. The number two thing you can offer, because the number one thing you can offer a woman is stability. That's the number one thing. We already been through this. Okay, so we've already been through this. The number one thing you can offer a woman is stability, financially, emotionally, spiritually. We've been through this. Fellas, thank you. I appreciate that. Free game alert right here. Y'all owe me. Let me help you. The second best thing you can offer a woman is safety and security. Safety and security. If you offer her emotional, spiritual, financial stability, you've checked off box one. The second box you got to check off is security, safety. A woman at the end of the day can be her most feminine self when she feels safe, when she feels secure, when she don't have to worry about stuff. She ain't got to worry about stuff from you. She ain't got to worry about stuff in the house. She ain't got to worry about stuff from other people. I ain't talking about going out here trying to be hard, threatening for it. It don't even take all of that. So Boaz said, listen, I want you to stick in this field. Wherever my workers go, you just go behind them. I already gave them the lowdown. They are not to let nobody bother you. They're not to let none of these young men talk rough to you. I already told them. They can talk rough to whoever they want to, but they are not to handle you any kind of way. Because when a person is really interested in you, they'll set clear expectations. I don't want to make none of y'all upset, but let me just especially pick on some of you women. Try not to get in trouble. Let me just especially pick on some of you women. Some of you have had non-Boazes for so long that when a man is clear with you about his expectations, a lot of you don't even know what to do with that. For a lot of you, that is such a foreign concept, that a man can be clear with his expectations. Not only be clear, but be stable and put it down to you in a way to ensure that he's got you. You're going to be safe and secure. You're so used to having to fend for yourself that you don't even know what to do when a man handles you that way. Let me keep reading. Look at verse 10. I appreciate that, Kara. They ain't talking to me. The chat quiet. Everybody quiet. Nobody's talking to me this morning. Nick Watson said she got her Boaz. See, I discovered this, y'all. Let me just go ahead and keep it a buck with y'all for real. Some of y'all not gonna like this, but this is what I discovered. We live in an age right now. We're talking love and happiness, right? So we're gonna be talking about relationship stuff, and we're right here on the verge of Valentine's Day. Some of y'all gonna deactivate your account Tuesday and all this stuff. No, you ain't gotta do all of that. But let me tell you this age that we're in right now. We're in this age right now where a lot of people claim to want stuff until it shows up. I want to say this again. A lot of people, not just females, males too. There's a lot of males and females out here that claim to want this and that in people, in relationships, in marriages. And then when it shows up, what you do? You act like you're a fish out of water. And the reason you act like a fish out of water is because you have not prepared yourself for it. And Ruth did the best thing she could do to prepare for what was coming and didn't even know she was preparing. And what that was not get out here on the dating market. It was not getting out here on dating apps. It was not getting out here and letting folk hook her up with everybody. Everybody that they thought might be good for her. It was not. What she did, she went to work and prepared herself. So that when her man showed up, she was prepared to receive him, and she wasn't going to act like a fish out of water. And I get it. I get it. I like that because I'm coming there. I'm coming there. She was in two places. And I got to deal with this later. She was under Naomi in the house. She was in the field working. And some of y'all better catch this revelation. Because if you're trying to bounce back from hurt, relationship pain, breakup, whatever, if you just, maybe you ain't bouncing back from them, you just single and you want to be prepared for what you think God might have for you, the best advice I can give you is to give the streets a break. Some of y'all think the bounce back happens in the club. It doesn't. I'm losing y'all. Some of y'all think the bounce back happens in the club. Some of y'all think the bounce back happens outside. You know, we outside. No. The bounce back doesn't happen outside. Yesterday was the first picture I posted in 2023. And the only reason I posted that is because my little girl made me post it. Right? I wasn't even ready to post pictures. But let me tell you something. I can't count the number of messages I got. Doc, you ain't lying about working out. You look good, man. You keeping yourself together. I know it. That stuff don't happen in public. The bounce back happens in private. Some of y'all think going to Miami, being in the clubs is the bounce back. Going to Atlanta, going to LA in the clubs is the bounce back. It's not. Being in the mix is the bounce back. No. Ruth gives you the formula. If you want to bounce back, you bounce back at work and at home. Are y'all listening to me? You bounce back at work and at home. Let me keep going. Watch this. Look at what I'm trying to figure out who clubs these days too. Folks still clubbing. I mean, I thought clubs were played out too, but whatever. I don't have time for that. I'm not going to deal with that today. Ruth 2, verse number 10. Look at this. Ruth fell at his feet and thanked him warmly. Yeah, I want y'all to record that, by the way. Thank you, Ms. Davery. I see here. I want everybody to record that because I think that's noteworthy. Everybody put it in the comments now. The bounce back happens in private. Come on, y'all. The bounce back happens in private. If you want to bounce back from relationship pain, relationship hurt, breakup, whatever, or you just single and you're just trying to get the bounce back happens in private. It ain't a public thing. It's not a public thing. The bounce back for real, if you're going to bounce back and stay back, it happens in private. Look at this. Ruth 2, verse 10. Look at what this says. Look at this. Ruth fell at his feet. When Boaz said all of this, he said, listen, I got you. Ain't nobody going to talk to you rough. You go behind my workers. We're going to take care of you. You get thirsty. You drink what you want to drink. You get hungry. You eat what you want to eat. I have given the people in this field, because I own it. I've given the people in this field orders on how to handle you. Y'all, it's so much I can teach you. I really want to deal with my men a lot here, because there's so much I could teach men about being men in this space. Because I'm telling you, men, when you are just a man, when you're just a man, there's just certain things you just inherently do that women shouldn't even be worried about. That woman shouldn't be at work worrying about if she's going to be harassed or she can't work. No, that's your job. See, when you learn how to set tone, men, when a man learns how to set the tone, everything under his voice falls in order. I don't have no help on this broadcast today. Is anybody listening to the old man? When a man sets real tone in his house, around his area, whatever he's responsible for, everything connected to him falls in order. So look at how Ruth responds in verse 10. Ruth says, the Bible says, Ruth fell at his feet, thanked him warmly, and said this, what have I done to deserve such kindness? She asked. I'm only a foreigner. In other words, I ain't even from here. Look at verse 11. Boaz says, yes, I know, but I also know about everything. Look at this. He says, but I also know about everything you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. And I have heard how you left your father and mother and your own land to live here among complete strangers. May the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge, reward you fully for what you have done. Look at this. So Boaz says, I did some research. And when I did my research, I discovered that when your mother-in-law lost her husband, you stayed there. When your mother-in-law lost her husband, you stayed there. When you lost your husband, you stayed with your mother-in-law. You continue to help her. This is why I'm going to tell some of y'all, especially you single folks, you need to make sure your act is clean. Some of y'all don't even realize the streets be talking. There are people who are asking about you, who are interested in you, who are checking you out. And here you are, fellas, posting a different girl every 3 weeks. Ladies, here you are, got all kinds of twerk and tweak videos on your feed. Now, nothing wrong with you. If you're going to go out, hang out with your girlfriend, do what you do, it's fine. But everything ain't for public consumption. Because your Boaz might be on your timeline doing some investigative work. I just wish I had some help, because I don't hear nobody saying amen here. I don't hear nobody saying, Doc, you teaching today. Are y'all just listening? See, you've got to be careful, because Boaz did research. I teach this to my students. I'm going to teach this to y'all. Every now and then, you need to just Google yourself. You need to just Google yourself and see what comes up. Because, fellas, ladies, the most confident, attractive thing you can tell anybody that you meet that's interested in you, you interested in them. Maybe it ain't even about that kind of relationship. Maybe it's a business relationship. Maybe it's somebody you connect with in business that wants to do business. The most attractive, appealing thing you can say to them in this day and time, Google me. When was the last time you met somebody who didn't know anything about you and your response was, hey, Google me? I say it all the time. Y'all type my name in Google and start reading. I'm telling you, you need to keep your name clean. Ruth got this opportunity not because she was the only woman in the field. And Google is not always the truth, by the way. Lord knows, because you can be tagged and all kinds of stuff. You can paint whatever. So I think that's totally fair, Nick, without a doubt. That's totally fair, right? You even have to take information in this day and time, and you got to research the information, right? You got to decipher the information, right? No doubt about it, right? But for the most part, the internet will give you the deets. Ruth was not the only person in the field, but Ruth had a great reputation. And some of you right now, the reason why you don't need a mate, you need a break instead, is because the pain from the last situation had the potential to scar your reputation. Some of you, the last situation did put a little dent in your reputation. There were some things that happened that transpired that you had to bounce back from. And so it wasn't a clean breakup. It was a breakup with some mess in it. And so it doesn't make sense to take a messy situation, come out of that situation with your mess, and jump into another one. This is why you need some downtime to take a break. This is making sense. Look at her response. Ruth chapter 2, verse 13. Y'all ain't even got to my notes yet. But I'm going to give it to y'all fast. There'll probably be a part 2 on Tuesday. I see how this is going. Look at this. Ruth chapter 2, verse 13. Listen to what Ruth says. Ruth says, I hope I continue to please you, sir. She replied, you have comforted me by speaking so kindly to me, even though I am not one of your workers. Verse 14. At mealtime, Boaz called to her, come over here and help yourself to some food. You can dip your bread in the sour wine. So she sat with the harvesters, and Boaz gave her some roasted grain to eat. She ate all she wanted and still had some left over. Verse 15, when Ruth went back to work again, Boaz ordered his young men, let her gather grain right among the sheaves without stopping her. And pull out some heads of barley from the bundles and drop them on purpose for her. Let them pick them up and don't give her a hard time. So Ruth says to Boaz, listen, I hope I continue to please you. Free game alert. Fellas, I'm coming for you again. Free game alert. Come on, y'all know what you're supposed to do. I need somebody to type free game alert with a colon, because I'm trying to help everybody, but I'm especially trying to help men right now. And women, if you will humble yourself and hear me, what I'm about to say is about to help you too. You ready? Free game alert. Fellas, when you stable, when your expectations are clear, and when she feels safe and secure, not only will she be feminine, one of her main goals will be to make sure that you're pleased. You can take that wherever you want to take it. When you stable, when she feels safe and secure, protected, when you've set clear expectations, she will become so relaxed in being a woman that one of her main goals will be to make sure she pleases you. She said it right here. Verse 13, I hope I continue to please you. Watch this, sir. In other translations, hear me out, Facebook ain't putting up no notes. I think I lost everybody on Facebook and YouTube. I don't know what's going on over there. But let me take this a step further. In the King James Version, sir is translated as Lord. Listen, his expectations was so clear with her. He was so stable. She felt so protected that she started calling him Lord. When was the last time? When was the last time, ladies, you've been around somebody who was so stable and had it together that you started calling him Lord? Now I get it. Here we go. The modern term for Lord today is daddy. I'm about to get in trouble. Put headphones on the kids just for 3 minutes. Okay? Put headphones on the kids for 3 minutes. If you're listening to this in the car, pull it out the car and put it in your headphones. All right? Y'all ready? I warned you. The modern term for Lord in today's world is daddy. Right? So many of you women are calling guys daddy. Yes, daddy. Yes, daddy. That's cool. Zaddy, right? That's the other one, right? No problem with that. But let me ask y'all a serious question. You ready? Here's a serious question I want you to think about. Of all the men you have called daddy or zaddy, how many of them are spiritually, emotionally, or financially stable? How many of them have set clear expectations with you? And how many of them have made you so secure, not just with them, but with everything and everybody else around you? Go ahead, I'm waiting. I would lift up to you that most of you call folks daddy and zaddy, and it had nothing to do with the 5 things I named. And most of them you call daddy and zaddy, it had everything to do with what they did behind closed doors. Anybody can put you in positions and make you say their name. But only a man who is financially, emotionally, spiritually stable, who sets clear expectations and makes you feel safe. Only a man can have you walking around the house calling him Lord. I'm trying to help all of you. Fellas, I ain't forgot about you. I don't want you to think I'm going in on the women. Listen to me. Fellas, just because you can slang a little bit of game, and you know what I'm talking about, just because you can slang a little bit of exercise, just because you know what spots to hit, that ain't enough for folk to be calling you daddy. Y'all got the headphones on your kids. I warned you. That ain't enough for folk to be calling you zaddy. What good? Because look, she might need a 30-minute break when you finish with her. But none of that gonna pay the light bill. What good is it that you can choke her, but you ain't got no spiritual stability to be able to pray for her? Uh-oh. See, you want folk to call you daddy because you can choke and you can bend and you can stretch and you can do all of that stuff, but none of that stuff keeps her safe. That temporarily satisfies her. And most of them, if they would just be honest with you, be faking it and ain't really satisfied anyway. They do that for your ego. Because most of you don't take the time to really understand what physically pleases a female. We're going to deal with that next week. Well, Doc, Doc, no, let me get my Mike Tyson voice. Well, Doc, man, I go 45 minutes, Doc. And, I don't ever stop, Doc. I'm the energizer. But listen, when you get some maturity and really study, you will realize it don't even take 45 minutes. You can do it right in 10. Because when you show up stable, when you have set proper expectations and she feels safe, you have already pleased her mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Look at all the crickets. I don't hear nobody. So, guys, stop walking around here telling her to call me daddy, call me zaddy, call me this, and you can't pray for her. She don't feel safe in your presence. She don't feel secure when she ain't around you. She doesn't go out in public and can go out in public and go places, go to the mall, go wherever, go do business, whatever, and just have this knowing, man, he got me. Like if something happened to me, all I got to do is just call him. Like I just text him, like he got me. If she don't feel all of that, you not Zaddy, you Junior, whatever your name is. So Boaz had it together so much that sis called him Lord. So you females stop calling folks Zaddy and they don't check them 5 boxes. Y'all need them again? Spiritually stable, emotionally stable, financially stable, sets clear expectations, and makes you feel safe and secure. If they ain't doing all of that, it's this little Junior from the block. It ain't daddy or zaddy. It's just little Junior, little Roscoe. Y'all don't like the way I'm teaching here. Fellas, I'll say that for next week. I'm not giving y'all that. All right, you take the headphones off the kids. Let me go through verse 17 through 23 quickly, and then I'm going to go to my notes. Ruth 2, verse 17. So Ruth gathered barley there all day, and when she beat out the grain that evening, it filled an entire basket. She carried it back into town and showed it to her mother-in-law. Ruth also gave her the roasted grain that was left over from her meal. Where did you gather all this grain today? Naomi said. Where did you work? May the Lord bless the one who helped you. So Ruth told her, said, child, let me tell you about this man in this field that I worked all day. She said, the man I work with today is named Boaz. Verse 20, may the Lord bless him, Naomi told her daughter-in-law. He has shown his kindness to us as well as to your dead husband. That man is one of our closest relatives, one of our family redeemers. Naomi said that the man you've been working for is not only showing kindness to you, but he's showing kindness to your dead husband, i.e. your past. Y'all ready? Record this. Record this. The right one will not only honor you, they'll honor where you came from. Come on, Facebook, YouTube. I don't see no notes. I don't see. The right one will not only honor you, they'll honor where you came from. In other words, they will honor and respect you and love you and like you so much that even if you came out of a bad spot, they're going to handle you right. And they're going to be respectful of where you came from. See, Boaz knew she had a dead husband. Boaz owned this field. He's obviously a wealthy man. And Boaz didn't come out the gate. He knew he had his game together. He didn't come out the gate saying, look, let's go ahead and do this now. Boaz just put her in position to win. He said, listen, I ain't going to let nobody bother you. I'm going to make sure you're taken care of. I'm going to make sure you do what you're doing. and I'm gonna just sit back in the cut. It ain't even about me right now. You go ahead and work and get what you need, build yourself back up, work for yourself, work for your family, do what you got to do, and I'm gonna just make sure nobody bother you while you do it. And Naomi translated that as he didn't just come at her as a broken woman. He gave her a chance to get back to herself. Y'all ready? A lot of men, a man that's a man's man, that's stable and secure, even if he's interested in you, if you need time to get your act together, he'll fall back and hang out in the cut until you can get what you need, until the timing is right. Because a man is going to respect where you came from. That was free game, fellas. Look at verse 21. I'm almost finished reading this. Then Ruth said, what's more, Boaz even told me to come back and stay with his harvesters until the entire harvest is completed. Verse 22. Good, Naomi exclaimed. Do as he said, my daughter. Stay with his young women right through the whole harvest. You might be harassed in other fields, but you'll be safe with him. Yeah, they not tapped in today. I feel like I'm losing y'all today. I thought this was a good message, and I ain't even got to my notes yet. Look at verse 23. So Ruth worked alongside the women in Boaz's fields and gathered grain with them until the end of the barley harvest. Then she continued working with them through the wheat harvest in early summer, and all the while she lived with her mother-in-law. Now, I'm not going to go into verse 3. Chapter 3 is really where the magic happens, where Naomi puts Ruth on Boaz and says, listen, sis, you've been working. You didn't bounce back. You didn't brought back all this food. We living. We healed up. I don't know what you're paying attention to, but this dude right here wants you. You might want to go ahead and just go show yourself. I could really deal with chapter 3. I don't have time to deal with chapter 3. But Naomi said, girl, don't miss your blessing that's right in front of your face. And some of y'all gonna know you ready for the blessing, because God will sometimes use the people closest to you to confirm that it's time. I knew I was ready to be blessed when people around me started saying, Doc, you ready? I see it. I see the work. What else? What is it? What's the problem? Ain't no problem. I'm chilling. I'm trying to help some of y'all. Look at this. I want you to record this. I got to try to give you some notes here, because some of y'all missing blessings and they staring you in the face. Some of y'all missing blessings for business, and because it doesn't come wrapped the way you want it, you think it ain't for you. So you have given up on business ideas and business proposals and business things that could have worked out for your business that were different than what you were used to, because it didn't show up in the package that you thought it would. And you're missing the blessing. You gotta be careful. And Naomi does a masterful job in chapter 3. Read it this week. Read it tomorrow. Read it before Tuesday. Does a masterful job in chapter 3 of saying, look, there's a blessing in front of you. You've done the work. Girl, it's time for you to go get it. And this is where circles are important too. You have the right circles in your life, and I'm going to talk about this in just a second. You have the right circles in your life. You're going to pursue things at the right time, because they will encourage you. The right circles are going to tell you the truth. They're not going to always tell you what you want to hear. They're not going to always say what you want to say, what you want them to say. The right circles are going to put you in the right positions and try to help to put you in the right positions to win. Now, I want you to record this. Let's get into this, because I hope this is making sense about needing a break. Ruth didn't just run back out there. She ran to work. She ran to get herself together. I want you to record this. You ready? Record this note. Families and lives are dysfunctional because choices are dysfunctional. Let's get to the nitty-gritty today. I ain't going to get through all of these notes, but I'm going to try to get through at least half of them in the next 15 minutes. All right? Families and lives are dysfunctional because choices are dysfunctional. Families and lives are dysfunctional because people's choices are dysfunctional. See, dysfunction is rarely given in a random way. Like, you don't randomly get dysfunction. You don't randomly get that kind of stuff. Most people don't realize their dysfunction until they're overwhelmed by dysfunction, right? So you don't realize that you are living in dysfunction or making dysfunctional choices until the dysfunction wave gets so high that it overwhelms you and you're like, whoa, this is dysfunctional. But by that time, so much momentum has built up in the dysfunction that you feel overwhelmed. Dysfunction is almost always born out of adversity. I'm here to tell you the reason why I want y'all to hear this. Dysfunction is almost always born out of adversity. The reason I say that is because with adversity comes pain. And how you respond to pain will determine if you experience success or dysfunction. I want to say this again slow. How you respond to pain, that's noteworthy. How you respond to pain will determine whether or not you see success or dysfunction. It's that simple. So when adversity comes your way, you got two options. You can either use it to build success, or that adversity is going to use you and build dysfunction. It's that simple, which is why for many of you who experience relationship loss, who experience relationship hurt, who experience relationship pain, instead of you taking that as an opportunity to build yourself, you became dysfunctional by how you responded to what went wrong. I like this because I think, Sister Michelle, you're leading to that. No, I'm sorry. That wasn't a question. I thought it was a question, but in my mind, this is where I'm going. Adversity doesn't come to destroy you unless you allow it to. It's that simple. Adversity, hard times, difficult moments don't come to destroy you unless you allow it to. Unless you allow it to. So if we know that to be the case, I want you to record this. You ready? Record it. Your response to pain gives an indication of who and where you are. These are long notes, but I need y'all to grasp every ounce of this. I want to say it again. Your response to pain offers an indication of who and where you are. Your response to pain offers an indication of who or where you are. Your response to pain offers an indication of who or where you are. You're gonna know you are ready for what is next by how you respond to pain. If the thought of what hurt you still breaks you down, has you having panic attacks, anxiety attacks, you are not ready for what is next. You don't need another woman. You need a break. If the thought of the last woman has you balled up in the corner, huffing, puffing, crying, about to pass out, and there's nothing wrong with that. We've all been in that phase. There's nothing wrong with that if that's the case. But if that has you there, you're not ready for another woman. You don't need a mate. You need a break. If the thought of him still has you teary-eyed, still has you hurt, mad, ready to slash tires, do all of this stuff, I don't care what God puts in front of you. You ain't ready for him, and you're going to ruin him. You don't need him. You need a break. And what we don't even realize is God be showing us if we ready for what's next by how we respond to what happened. God be showing us if we're ready for what's next by how we respond to what has happened. You're going to know you're ready for what's next when you can think about what happened and you don't see it as something that hurt you. You don't see it as something that destroyed you. You see it as something that built you. You see it as something that empowered you. You see it as something that made you the man or the woman that you are. You see it as something that was necessary for you to become everything that you are and more. See, I knew I was healed and ready and eligible and able when I thought about past hurt, and I didn't think about it in a negative way. When I thought about it in a way like, wow, I'm glad that happened. When was the last time you went through something and said, I'm glad it happened? See, there's levels, y'all. There are levels. When you get to the level where you can say, I'm glad that actually happened to me. Oh yeah, you healed. You ain't just healed, you healed. Now, I get it. And I want to deal with that, Kiana. I'm glad you said this. I'm glad you said this, and I'm glad I saw this. Pastor, mine a little different. I lost him a year ago, and I'm still grieving. Y'all, I want to be clear here. I am not minimizing grieving. Okay, I want to be very clear here. I'm not minimizing grieving, and I'm not saying that grieving is not necessary or essential. I believe grieving is essential. I believe grieving is necessary. I believe that. Make no mistake about it. What I'm offering to you is the litmus test to let you know that you are healed to a space where you can move forward is when you can think positively about the situation that happened in the past. And until then, you may still be in grieving mode. Now, this is one thing I think I said this last week. I want to reiterate it. I don't tell people how long to grieve because honestly, the answer to that question, how long do I grieve? We don't know. One of the things the story doesn't give us about Ruth, Naomi, and Orpah and losing their husbands and Naomi losing her sons, we don't get the period of time, I don't believe, or did we? No, we didn't. We didn't get the period of time. So we don't know how long it took for Naomi's husband and Naomi's sons to die. We don't know how long that took. And we don't know how long it took for them dying to them going to the country. We don't know how long they grieved. The story doesn't talk about that. I believe this. How long it takes you to grieve can very much depend on the situation and the circumstances, without a doubt. That's one part of it. So it can depend on the situation, the circumstance, how the loss happened, how the loss occurred. I'm not minimizing I'm not minimizing anybody's loss. Let me say, I'm just trying to be very careful here because I want to be sensitive to everybody here in this space because I realize some of you are in this space right now. Okay. I want to be sensitive to that. I can't tell you how to grieve but I will say this. In my humble opinion, I would imagine that the loss of a spouse, boyfriend, whatever, to death versus the loss due to breakup or divorce are probably two different types of pain. Okay. I haven't experienced one of them, but I would imagine that they are two different types of pain. Okay. That's what I would imagine. I have friends that have lost spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends to death, and they talk about the type of grief that is. And I've never experienced the type of grief that they have talked about in that context. So I don't, I've never personally experienced, but in listening to them, it sounds pretty deep and heavy. Okay. But I would imagine those are two totally different things. Because of that, then totally different types of pains. Because of that, it may require two different types of grief. All right. Two different time periods of grief. But I am saying we can pay attention to how we think about whatever the loss is, and how we think about it or think on it will be an indication of where we are in the process of being able to move forward. And this is so very important. All right. And so, pain gives us an indication of who we are, and it gives us an indication of where we are. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you. The normal thing for most people to do when pain or disappointment responds is to find a quick fix. To find a quick fix. Most people, when they experience pain, when they experience loss, when they experience disappointment, the normal, natural thing to do is to try to substitute that pain with a quick fix. And this is why people who experience pain, hurt, disappointment, loss sometimes end up in rebound relationships, or you end up addicted to stuff that you ain't never been. I mean, you ain't even a drink, and here you are drinking every other day. Like, you end up doing stuff to try to distract you. I like that, Keon, to try to distract you from the pain instead of embracing the hurt of the season and growing through it. So people normally respond to pain or disappointment with something fast and easy, something quick. I had a buddy who I'm not going to tell that story. I got a buddy who went to another country. He experienced something, really bad breakup. He went to another country, and he just told me how he went there and just went off, and he had a great time. But as soon as he got back, what he left was still here. Like, that doesn't fix anything. It doesn't. And you can even do that, right? That's why the whole adage, and I did this on one of my personal social, I did this video on my personal social media page where I talked about this, just the very poor advice that people give you. The way to get over one man is to get under another one. The way to get over one woman is to get on top of another one. It's dumb. That's not how you get over people. Because all you're doing is transferring your pain and dysfunction from one person to the next. And honestly, that's how toxic bonds and relationships form anyway. Well, one way. That's not the easiest way to get over people. You got to take the time to heal. Sometimes I want you to record this. Y'all give me 4 minutes. I'm way over. I want you to record this. Sometimes the best response is to step back and take a break. Come on, y'all. Come on, Facebook, YouTube. Y'all must be upset with me today. Sometimes the best response is to step back and take a break. When pain, disappointment, hurt happens, and that can be not only in love and relationships, it can be in business. Something that you tried, business didn't work. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to pause, take a step back, evaluate what has occurred, and then go ahead and proceed forward. Sometimes the best response is to step back and take a break. Some of y'all don't need nobody right now. Doc, what are you trying to say? Well, I mean, you spent all of this time talking, one hour talking to us today. What are you trying to say to us today? I'm saying that some of y'all don't need nobody right now. As cute as you are, as fine as you are, as much you got to offer, as handsome as you are, as attractive as you are, as much as you have to give, some of y'all don't need nobody right now, because you need a season where you need to evaluate yourself and make sure you are as healthy and as whole as possible, so that you don't take Boaz and mess him up. So you don't take Boaz and mess, fellas, so that you don't take Ruth and mess her up. Fellas, God might be trying to sing you a Ruth, but if you ain't ready, you're going to mess her up. Some of you just need to take a break. You need to take a break. Yes, you could date, but dating is probably not a good idea right now. Yes, you could go out and get your needs met, but getting your needs met is probably not a good idea right now. This is why I'm an advocate of abstinence and or celibacy. I'm an advocate of it. Because when you rest what has been used or hurt, it'll be stronger next time. I need y'all to record that. When you rest what has been used or hurt, it'll be stronger next time. Now, I'm not going there today. I'll deal with that next week. I'm going to deal with just that next week, because some of y'all just need to put it down. You need to park the car. Go see my video on my personal YouTube, my personal Instagram, TikTok. Just go look at it. Some of y'all need to take your car and park it. You've been hurt, and you think that letting other folk drive the car is going to help the car feel better. Baby, you stacking miles. When you rest, I'm gonna hurt you, Michelle. I'm gonna hurt you. When you rest what has been used or hurt, it's stronger the next time. It performs better. Some of y'all need to park it. You need to take the keys. You need to hide the keys from yourself and everybody else. And give yourself a break. Because when you rest anything, whether it's your heart, or you take a rest from exercise. We all know what exercise means, right? In the context of this series. You take, for those of you that's got kids, you take a break from exercise, it's going to make the experience a lot better next time. Stop getting hurt by people and fixing your hurt with more dysfunction. Because when that 3 minutes is over, you're going to be right back in the same spot, but with a greater problem. Now you have added more miles to the car. And I don't care what kind of car you got. It can be a Bentley, Maserati. It can be this lime green Lambo that I want. If that joint got a whole lot of miles, the number of purchasers are going to decrease. It's that simple. Y'all stop stacking miles, trying to get over folks. Keon, you want me to do that? Do you really want me to deal with cleaning up your Carfax? Let me help y'all. You can't clean up a Carfax. See, I don't know if they still do this. There used to be an underground market where people would be selling what they call scrap cars, right? If a car, let's say a car has been in a flood, right? And it's been deemed, I forgot what that term is, where you can't salvage. It's been deemed salvage. So you're not supposed to be able to sell the car. There's an underground market where people will take salvage cars and try to fix them up and resell them. But let me tell y'all something. Somebody who's got some money, i.e. some value, that's got a lot to offer, they're going to investigate that car before they buy it. Because somebody that's got some value knows an offer that looks too good to be true. Y'all better catch this revelation. You missing what I'm saying. Somebody who got value knows an offer that looks too good to be true. You can try to fix it up. You can try to salvage it up. You can try to do all of that stuff. But somebody who got value can see through all of that. And some of y'all got all these miles and you're trying to get somebody to invest in it. They might take a drive. They might test drive it. They're not buying it. And I ain't just talking to females. Let me be really crystal clear here. I'm talking to males too, especially. To see, you hear words like this and folks think it's just for females. No, some of you males are the community. You the community car. Some of you males are community cars. And what you don't realize is the most attractive feature you can have as a man is when you pop out with somebody and a whole bunch of women can't say, yeah, I've been with them. Let me tell you how I knew my value was popping. Because when I pop out, it ain't going to be a whole lot of people that can be like, I've been with him. Ain't that it? So I'm especially talking to you men too, because we have this talk and we think it's just about women. mileage and went, oh, her miles up, doc. I don't want, no, your miles high too. You the community car. Everybody renting it, taking it out for the weekend and turning it back in. And you think your value's the same? Doesn't work that way. It's a big time flex. And I don't believe in that. See, I don't have the double standard. The church does. The people in the street have a double standard. I'm gonna deal with that this week because I got to do a video on this Beyonce foolishness and just set the record straight and make a whole bunch of religious folk mad at me. Oh shoot, Sister Nick Watson reached out and was right on time because I've got on weekends I go through my video playlist what I'm going to record for the week, and I start prepping my notes so I can get my thoughts together. And that video was on my list. I'll probably deal with it Tuesday, maybe. But it's just ridiculous. We have such double standards when it comes to stuff. And I don't believe in that foolishness. No, I ain't got no double standard when it comes to women and miles, because a whole lot of dudes out here that's got high miles, and then they think they have value because they got money. Yeah, you got money. You got that part. Great. That's wonderful. But if you the community piece, or when you walk around, she got to be wondering who going to be lurking or who popping out because you didn't been with everybody. How is that making her safe and secure? It's not. It's not. And it actually makes her look like the next rental. It makes her look like the next person who's just renting you. And that's why people don't take her serious, because they know your history. Game. Free game alert. Fellas, they'll take her serious when she's on your arm when you ain't for the streets. Some of y'all need to park it, hide the keys, siphon out the gas so nobody can't even jump start it, and get yourself together. Y'all like this. And I'm talking to men and women. And I meant it. Why? Because Naomi and Ruth proved this. When they lost their husbands to death, they didn't go looking for another one. They took a break. And in the process of taking a break and getting themselves together, God then put in front of them exactly what they needed, because they took a break. They didn't run from one into another one. They took their time and took a break. Y'all, I'm going to park it right here. I'm going to start here Tuesday. Let me just get my notes together here. Tuesday, 7:33 p.m. I'm going to give you part 2 of this. You need a break, because there's some things I got to give you. I got to give you, and let me just give you a preview. I got to give you 3 things to do when life starts lifing. It's going to be powerful, because life lifes. And when life starts lifing, there are 3 things you got to always do to get out of it. I'm going to give you that. I'm going to talk about the importance of working on yourself. And I'm going to talk about 2 things that you're naturally attached to, because here's another piece of this. And I'm going to wait till we get on the end. But here's another piece of this. Some of y'all in this season need to try something different. Let me just give you a preview of what's coming Tuesday. Some of you need to try something different, because I can look through your dating history. I can look through your relationship history and all of that dysfunction. And if you're honest, listen to me. If you're honest about your history and you see the same cycles of dysfunction in your history, there's a good chance that a lot of the people that you chose have a lot in common. About to get in trouble, which is why some of y'all need to try something different. The thug thing ain't working out. I'll deal with that Tuesday. The thug thing ain't working out. Okay? Because while you would love to have a thug who can have you in the air and twirl you everywhere and, grab you by your neck and all this stuff, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you something. You can have a man that's emotionally stable and still be able to choke you and do all of that stuff too, but is also stable and balanced and secure. and he may not come wrapped in the package that you used to. Maybe you need to shift from the thugs and look at the nerds. I'm serious. Y'all don't like the way I'm talking here. I'm serious. You know, some of you just need to try something different. But I'll deal with that Tuesday. I don't have time today. This bless anybody if it did fill it up with hearts. I'm way over time, not out of word. And I need just 7 minutes of your time to pray. We'll sow a seed and we'll get out of here. All right. But I'm way over. Some of you need to rewatch this. You need to share this with people. But I'm serious. Some of you need to just try something different. You just do. Male and females. Fellas, you've been choosing the same women that have the same attributes, the same characteristics, the same whatever, and you need to switch it up. Now, I'm not saying you need to settle. You don't have to settle. It's okay to be mentally and physically and intellectually attracted to someone. It's nothing wrong with that. You can have all three without a doubt. But some of y'all just stick with the physical and you forget about the mental and emotional and spiritual. So, if we're dealing with meters, you can pull back. If it means pulling back a little bit on the physical, maybe he ain't the thug kind of physique you used to, but the other areas are high. Let me tell you something. If he loves you right, you can learn how to love him. If she loves you right, you can learn how to love her. I don't have time to deal with this. But some of y'all just need to try something different. This bless anybody. I'm way over time. If it did fill up with hearts, I want to pray for you. If you got a prayer request, I want you to type in the comments right now. Hurry. I got 5 minutes. Real fast. I'm way out of time, not out of word. If this bless you, type your prayer request in the comments quickly. I'm praying for you every morning, 4:03 in the morning. This week was a grueling week. I think I overslept maybe one or two mornings this week. It was a grueling week. I got another grueling week coming up, but it ain't gonna stop me from getting up and praying over you. I want to pray for you. I want to pray concerning your life and everything that is concerning your life, that God might continue to answer your prayers and make ways for you. If you got a prayer request, I need you in 30 seconds or less to type it in the comments quickly. Good. I see them starting to roll in. Facebook, YouTube has been very quiet this morning, but I need you to type in your prayer request quickly because I want to pray for you every single day this week, Monday through Friday. I'm up 4:03. I get up and I pray over your requests. And I want you to know that I'm praying for you, praying for your family, and praying for everything concerning you, that God might continue to answer your prayers. All right. After you type it, I want you to connect your hands like this as a sign of symbol of faith. All right. I want you to connect your hands like this as a sign of symbol of faith. I want you to touch and agree with me because we're getting ready to pray. Life study start here. We're getting ready to pray for you, and we're getting ready to believe with you. Oh, I forgot, y'all. Oh man, how did I forget this? Tuesday is Valentine's Day. So I'm not doing life study Tuesday because some of you do have Valentines, and I want to be mindful of that. All right. So I'm not doing life study this Tuesday. I'm going to do life study Wednesday this week. Okay. Well, some of y'all saying y'all will be here. How about this? I'm just going to do it Tuesday. All right. I'm going to do it Tuesday. It'll be recorded. If you got a Valentine, please enjoy your Valentine. Don't watch the broadcast. Let me say this again. I'm going to do life study Tuesday at 7:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you can tune in, great. If you have a Valentine, don't be watching life study with your Valentine. This is why folk in the church be in divorce court. Because instead of y'all enjoying each other, y'all watching convocation on dates. How many y'all heard me say this? Convocation is not a date. Watching church clips is not a date. So if you got a Valentine, please do not tune in Tuesday. Okay. If you're in mourning and hear me teach, it's going to be too much for you, then just take Tuesday off. You can watch the replay when you can handle it. All right. But I will be here Tuesday, 7:33 Eastern Standard Time for a life study. If I had a Valentine, I would pre-record it and let it play. And I wouldn't be teaching Bible study. I do have Valentine. I got Giselle and 4. And but I'm serious. If you got a Valentine, don't be tuned in. I don't care if it's 3 viewers. Y'all know I teach to myself. Okay. But I want you to enjoy yourself Tuesday. And we're going to remain consistent. Now, no, church ain't a date, Sister Stephanie. I'm glad I see your comment. Church is not a date. I don't care what these pastors tell you. Your first date ought to be at church. No, that's not a date. Y'all are just going to church with each other. There's nothing wrong with taking, if you're going to take somebody that you're interested in out, there's nothing wrong with y'all going to church together, but don't call that a date. You don't go to church to date. You don't date in church. There ain't nothing about getting to know a person like sitting in church with somebody that's not getting to know them. Folk can shout and still slash your car tires. I know y'all don't like this. Yeah, it's good that you go to church. You get to see how they worship and where they worship and get to understand the environment and see them in that space. There's nothing wrong with that. But that ain't no date. Convocation ain't no date. Anyway, don't y'all egg me on, because y'all know it don't take a lot. Let's pray. Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you today for your word in this time of gathering you've given us. It's my prayer that something was said that has encouraged somebody, that has challenged somebody, maybe convicted somebody, and certainly empowered somebody to be everything you've called them to be and more. Now, God, as we conclude this session today, it is my prayer that the word might be applied to somebody's life, that somebody would find the strength to apply this word to their lives, that they might be everything they've been called to be, everything they've been designed to be, and much more. Help us, God, to apply it to our lives so that we, not that we will live perfect lives, but so that we won't make the same mistakes over and over again, so that we can show up in spaces as whole and as entire as we possibly can be. Now, God, for every prayer request that's been typed in the broadcast, that's been emailed to our inbox, for every prayer request that's on the heart and minds of people that's so strong that they can't translate it into words, we lift these requests up to you and ask now, God, that you would answer the prayers of your people as only you can, that you would make ways, open doors, meet needs, that you would grant hearts' desires in a special way. We thank you, God, for a week that will be filled with miracles, open doors, made ways, met needs, and granted expectations and promises. Let this week, God, be the week that somebody makes up in their mind to pause and take a break, to make sure that they are positioned within themselves to show up as holy and as complete as possible, so that they can fully experience everything that you have to offer them in this life. I praise you now, God, because this will be a week that is filled with miracles, open doors, that is filled with granted expectations and new promises. And God, we will continue to give your name the praise and the glory, and we will not take the credit. We count these things done in Jesus' name. Amen. Do me a favor. If you prayed that prayer of faith, I want you to type in the comments quickly. It is so. Hurry. It is so. It is so. It is so. If you prayed that prayer of faith, type it in the comments now. It is so. It is so. God's answering your prayers. He's making ways. He's opening doors. He's meeting needs. He is granting the prayer request of his people as only he can. Really quickly, I've got to at least do this before we hang up. If anybody wants to be saved, if anybody wants to dedicate their life to Christ, the Bible tells us, Romans 10:9, that if we confess with our mouths and believe with our hearts that Jesus Christ is who he is and did what he did for us, we are saved. Salvation is a matter of confession. It's not about being perfect, but it's about understanding that you serve a God that's greater than your challenges, that's greater than your flaws and failures. If you want to be saved, I want you to stop what you're doing. I need you to repeat this prayer of faith with me, because God wants to save you right where you are. If you want to be saved, say this with me. I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I've made some mistakes. I have some flaws, and I even have some failures. But I do believe that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin, lived on this earth just like I'm living. He suffered, bled, and died on the cross. But 3 days later, rose again for my sins. Because he lives, I can live, and I am saved. My friends, if you prayed that prayer of faith, I want to welcome you to the royal family of Jesus Christ. You made an incredible decision, and I'm so glad you gave your life back to Christ. I want you to continue to grow in your faith, continue to grow as a believer, continue to tune into this broadcast. Find you a church home somewhere where you can continue to grow in your faith. Hear the word in a way that you can understand it and apply it to your life, so you can be better today than what you were yesterday. All right. Listen, I love y'all. I'm praying for you. Listen, if you want to sow a seed, if this ministry has been a blessing to you, I want to challenge you to give today really quickly. Yes, we're a tithing ministry. We're an offering giving ministry. I want to challenge you to give. You can give via CashApp, $REHABCCGIVE. You can give through our website, www.rehabcc.org, and choose online giving. Or you can text Rehab Works to 336-642-3210. Again, you can give via Cash App, $REHABCCGIVE. You can give via our website, www.rehabcc.org, and choose online giving. Or you can text RehabWorks to 336-642-3210. You can give either one of those ways, and we know God's going to bless you in a tremendous way because of your giving. I love y'all. I'm praying for you. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. I'm praying for those of you that are rooting for whoever you're rooting for. Happy Valentine's Day week to those of you that will be celebrating Valentine's Day. I want you to enjoy yourself, enjoy the people that you love, and don't take this season for granted. And we can't wait to see you on Tuesday. All right. I love y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. I'm praying for you. As the award-winning dancer that I am, it is my prayer. Oh, my crown is a little crooked. There we go. It is my prayer. It is my prayer that God gives you the desires of your heart this week and that you have a phenomenal week. All right. I love y'all. I'm praying for y'all. I'm rooting for you. Have a fantastic week. Peace and blessings to you and your family.